Hey guys, I am Amanda Ray. I am with RadPad Locating in Dallas, Texas. We assist with apartment locating for the DFW area and surrounding cities. And I really wanted to do this video because if one thing I realized during this pandemic is a lot of people are relocating from out of state to Dallas, Texas. And I just wanted to provide a video that was going to have the most information, I guess, before your move and before you decide to move. So I will have timestamps on the bottom of the description on this video in case you are looking for specific information. I'm going to be going over obviously pricing, availability, areas, requirements, and just what to expect overall when relocating to Dallas, Texas. I hope this is helpful for any of my clients that are relocating, or just for anybody who is, not even using my services but needs help and has no idea where to start. We'll go ahead and jump into this video and I will just keep it straight to the bullet points. I have all my notes here, so if you guys also have any questions that I don't cover, please leave them in the comments below. I would be happy to do another video answering those questions. One of the most frequently asked questions that I get asked as a locator is, are my services free? Yes, our services are free to provide lists of options to you after you've listed me on your application as your referral source. I also provide a rebate for my clients just as a move-in gift to say, like, welcome, here's a little something to get you a little situated, and yeah, so that's just something that I offer. It's a cash rebate via Venmo or PayPal. But my services are free. You do not have to pay for anything. Just be sure that I'm listed on your application, and that goes for any locator. You be sure that you are listing them for the work that they're doing for you to make sure they're compensated by the property. Can prices be negotiated? No, unfortunately, we cannot negotiate pricing for you. Sometimes properties are offering specials where then you can, lower that monthly rent, hopefully. But we cannot negotiate pricing. What are safe areas is another question I get asked, and unfortunately we cannot discuss like safety or demographic questions regarding areas, but we can help find something that is, specific to your needs and interests. We will do our best to do that for you, and of course recommend certain areas too if you'd like. When is the best time to move is another common question that I get, and honestly, there's no there's no specific time frame I can tell you. It just depends on what the market is during that time. I will say the summer, the months getting into the summer where weather is feeling good and great, and that's usually when people are going to move. Nobody really wants to move during the winter time. So you'll notice that in the summer prices can skyrocket. Another frequently asked question is, what happens after I am approved? After you've applied for your apartment, which you can do online, you should hear something back within 48 hours unless there's some kind of like discrepancy or they're needing some kind of paperwork from you. I typically reach out to my clients to see if they need help setting up utilities, whether it's, electric or cable, Wi-Fi, water, gas, even though most properties don't offer gas anymore. Even sometimes security. I will get you connected with somebody who can help you get that all set up before your move. They'll call you within like 24 hours just to make sure that, you are good to go. So the standard rental requirements to lease in Texas are going to be 3 times the rent, no evictions, no broken leases, no misdemeanors, felonies. You want to make sure you don't have any bankruptcies, and obviously having a good credit score. That is super helpful. Most of the properties we work with will require at least like 600 minimum. There are very few properties that will accept lower credit score. Sometimes you can be approved with conditions, and typically in those situations you are looking at maybe a higher deposit, maybe getting a guarantor, lease guarantor, which is also known as like a co-signer. So that's something that you can expect if you are in those kind of situations. But we'll do our best to try to find something that is, able to accept you. But all properties do go through a screening process where they use a third party to screen you, and they can never really tell you before screening you if you're approved or not, but they can kind of maybe give you an idea. Most of the time you're not going to know exactly what is going to come up. So sometimes you just have to kind of take that risk. What to expect to pay when you are going to lease an apartment is most likely your application and admin fee. Basically, your admin fee is an administrative fee, and that goes towards holding your apartment to make sure that it is off the market so no one else can lease that apartment. That fee can range. It can be anywhere between like 85 to like 225. It just depends on the property, but they will always go over those fees with you before you have to pay anything. Application fee, those vary as well. They could be anywhere from like $50 to like $150. Again, it just depends on the property, but those are usually like the average. Deposits typically vary as well, so it's just really hard to say. But again, all of these properties are going to go over all those fees with you before you have to pay anything. If you have pets, there will be an additional fee for that. Usually pet deposits can vary from like $300 to $500. Sometimes they're refundable, sometimes they're non-refundable. Again, each property is going to be different. There's also usually, if you have a pet, a monthly pet rent. So that is usually between like $20 to $25 a month. Although if you have an emotional support animal, an ESA, or a service animal that's registered, you can get all those fees waived. Usually you can do that online. I know I have my pet, she is an emotional support animal, which I got her registered through CertaPet, but there are many different companies you can go through. It's pretty quick and easy. I think it's like $100 to $150. All I know is the amount is a lot cheaper than what you would pay for at an apartment for deposit and pet rent throughout the lease term. So that's another alternative if you do have, pets that you'd like to get registered. And all fees will be waived. You won't have to pay for a deposit. You won't have to pay for your monthly rent. So that is always a plus and save you some money. Breed restrictions. There are typically breed restrictions at most properties. But like I said, if you have a dog that is registered, your pet is registered as an ESA or a service animal, they can't reject your animal. They can't keep them from living with you. You are good to have your Rottweiler or Pit Bull. Those are usually typically the breed restricted animals. So specials, a lot of times clients are like, I want to move somewhere where they have specials. They vary from property to property. It's usually depending on like what the occupancy is at those properties. If the occupancy is low, then obviously management is trying to lease up and they want people to move in, so they'll offer an incentive. Or if a property is new and just newly open, like 2019 and 20 and up, then they'll usually offer specials too, because the same reason, they want their occupancy to go up. Sometimes and even have specials at older properties. It's just not going to be as common as newer ones. And they can vary. They can be from $500 off or free admin fee if you apply within 24 hours. If you're really lucky, you'll get 2 months free, which is awesome if you can self-prorate that. But they just vary. Also, it could be on selected units. It could be only on vacant units that are for immediate move-in. Sometimes specials are only offered for certain floor plans that they maybe have too many floor plans available. So it just depends. Also, a lot of times I'll have clients text me like, hey Amanda, like I saw that, this property is offering 2 months free, but I didn't see it on your list. And a lot of times these properties will put offering 2 months free in big letters on their website, but then when you call them up, it's like, oh, it's only for 2 bedrooms, and my client's looking for a 1 bedroom. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes whenever you're looking at, websites and stuff and they're saying they're offering the specials, most of the time you'll want to call them to confirm which units are having these specials, what floor plans, is it only vacant, because this is just like a sales tactic, obviously, that people use to get people to call them, tour with them, and hopefully lease with them. Be very cautious when you are using apps, locating apartment apps, because a lot of times on these apps, they are not being updated as they should be, which is like every hour, I think. A lot of times I've had clients say, hey, I saw this unit in this floor plan for this price at this property, but I didn't see it on your list, and it's because it's really not available. They never updated it. Somebody leased it like a day ago. So just be very careful. If you have a question about that, you can always have your locator reach out for you. Just a side note, market rent is the rent before specials are calculated. Net effective rent is the price after specials. The rent after the specials have been calculated into the monthly price. So when a property offers a month free on a 12-month lease term, meaning you're only paying rent for 11 months out of the 12-month lease term, using your rental amount, you can calculate the weekly rate to find your new effective rent. This is if you want to self-allocate the specials. I'll give an example. And I had wrote this down, so sorry if I'm like looking at my computer because I cannot remember everything I say. If an apartment is $1,383, but they are offering a month free, basically what you can do is multiply that $1,383 by 11 months, which will come out to $15,213. And then divide that $15,213 by 12 months. And that'll get you $1,267.75. That is going to be your new net effective rent, is you'll be paying that monthly. There's many ways you can do this. A lot of times when you are signing up with a property, you get this online portal where you'll be paying your rent, but they'll usually apply that credit of 1 month into that portal for you. So then that's when you can, self-allocate it. Just keep in mind that pricing and availability is subject to change daily. So if you see something that is just too good to be true, you're more than likely gonna wanna hop on it because it's not gonna last long. That's not just to tell you like, hey, we're trying to get you to lease now because we wanna close you. More often than not, a client will get really excited about a deal on a property. They'll wanna wait 2 to 3 days to tour it and then another day or two to make a decision on it. If something is too good, it is not gonna last on the market. I don't know how many times I've had a client fall in love with something, but they're just dragging their feet on it and they think that something else is gonna be come up, but then they lose out and then it happens again, and then it is just like they end up having to settle for something that's like not as good as what they initially got offered. If you're looking specifically for rental homes, we don't, and I mean houses, I'm sorry, we do not cover any house rentals. Even though I'm a licensed realtor or real estate agent, I do not specialize in residential properties. So when it comes to townhomes, I'm definitely limited options on those as well. Usually the townhomes that we as locators work with are going to be at apartment complexes that do offer that in their community. But like I said, we'll do our best to find the best options for you that are close to that criteria. And if we're not able to assist, then at least we can recommend alternative options for you. So just to narrow down some areas for you, Central Dallas is obviously going to be areas closer to the city. So it'll be downtown, uptown, Knox Henderson, Old East Dallas, Lower Greenville, Medical Design District. Those are a few areas surrounding the city. So those tend to be a little bit more pricier because of that, because you're closer to restaurants and bars. There are areas that are surrounding those areas that will be a short commute to the city life, more reasonably priced, like North Dallas, Midtown area, or a few other areas we can recommend. The more northern you go will be Richardson, Plano, Allen, McKinney, Frisco, which are other great areas. If you head a little bit east, you'll find Mesquite and East Dallas, which is also known as White Rock. A little west of Dallas, you'll find West Dallas, which is Trinity Groves, a very up and coming area that is known for having really great shops and restaurants. You'll also find Irving area, maybe even Las Colinas, Farmers Branch, Carrollton, which is very, very reasonably priced as well. And then the more south you go, you'll find South Oak Cliff, Duncanville, DeSoto. We don't specialize in a lot of those areas. It's a little bit more challenging if that is an area that you're wanting to move into to find, something for you, but we will do our best. So just to touch a little bit on touring with you, most properties are now accepting tours. However, they are usually requiring an appointment to be set. So if you are looking to tour, definitely want to book something at least a couple of days, 48 to 72 hours in advance, because they do kind of book up pretty quickly, especially if you're looking to tour on the weekends. If you're planning a trip here on the weekend, let your locator know a few weeks in advance so that we can make sure to get some updated pricing before your visit. I personally like to send my clients an itinerary just to kind of map out everything logistically to make sure, like, you know, they're not going like all over the place, and it just is like a commute that makes sense coming from where they're coming from. Virtual tours are also now most of the time available on the websites of these properties. Since the pandemic, clearly it's just been something that's been very popular to do, and they've been having no choice but to do. So you can always look for virtual tours on the property websites as well as YouTube. I would suggest searching a specific property that you're looking into on YouTube and checking out the floor plans, the aesthetic, the community. You'll definitely have a better idea of what you are to expect at this property. Sometimes locators can FaceTime you, sometimes the leasing agents can FaceTime you. Usually I get my clients to kind of narrow it down to 2 to 3 properties, and then once they get there, if they're just like not sure on, you know, what the area is like, what the property is like, I will physically tour those for them and record the area, so just kind of go all out so that you can get at least an idea of what to expect. Then from there, have them make their decision. Well, I hope this video was helpful for anyone who is relocating to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I was born and raised here, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die here. I love Dallas, and I wish you guys the best of luck if you are moving here. If you need help or assistance finding an apartment here, then please reach out and fill out the Google form below with your information. I will also leave my email there below as well. And yeah, I look forward to helping anyone who needs help. Let me know if there are any questions you may have in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer those immediately. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope it was helpful.